So I bought this Chinese wind turbine recently. It's meant to be rated at 48 volts, 2000 watts. But I had it on the roof during our windy times, what was it, about 3 weeks ago, and it wasn't really producing much at all, maybe 200 watts maximum. So I'm going to give it a bit of a test on our alternator tester to find out actually what it can produce. Bear in mind that the sellers that I've bought this from are very adamant that it's correctly rated, and they need to see more evidence, which I guess for a lot of people is very hard to do if they don't have this sort of kit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put one on a test using our grid tie inverter and see what it actually produces. So let's go through the kit, let's see what I'm using. So we've got our old alternator tester, which is basically just going up through a belt on the front here and into the main drive motor inside there. We have variable frequency, so we can vary the speed at which it's going to rotate. I've got a white blob on the pulley and an RPM meter, wherever it's gone. Here it is. So that hopefully we can go and do some tests. So I know one of the things they're probably going to say is, oh, the cables are too small. So for this reason, we've gone with either 10 or 16mm squared cable, a really thick cable, so there is absolutely no chance that they can tell me that the cable is too thin. So this is what we're going to be using. Okay, obviously it's off at the moment, so it's a Sun-2000G-WAL inverter. So this is a 2 kilowatt grid tie. It's for a wind turbine. It has 3-phase input. It also has a dump load as well. So I'll put an image to that in a little bit. So what we're going to do is we're going to run the test and see exactly what we get. Okay, so we're generating 346, well I think 44, something around that level, watts. Okay, so they have recommended that this is good for a 1000 RPM. Okay, let's just check, see what see what RPM it is actually on. Too used to saying voltage. Okay, so we have 1400 RPM, so we're already 400 RPM over what they say this unit should be at. Okay, now bear in mind, as I say, we're producing some, but it's no way off the 2 kilowatts that this is meant to be. So I think we want to crank it up to about 2000 and see how we get on here. So we have got it now up a little bit more. Let's do the test on it. So by testers now, we are pretty much bang on 2000 RPM, which is also doubled our tachometer up there. Okay, so we're at 2000 RPM. Wow. We're at 400 watts. So we've gained a little bit. We've gained maybe 410. Okay, we'll be nice to it. Okay, so we'll go 410. It's bouncing around to the 410, so something like that. Okay, so now we're double what they are saying it should be, what the RPM should be. So let's go a little higher, see what happens. Let's say you're having a really very, very windy day. I mean, that speed at the moment is very fast. Okay, so we're now 2,500 RPM. We'll check that against my digital meter just to make sure that that tacho is correct. Okay, pretty much bang on 2,500. So, and we are getting 448. Right, go on then. We might as well take this up to 3. They did say it's only good for 1,000, but I'm not getting a wattage out of it. Okay, so that's 3,000 RPM. Not hot yet. We're getting 472 watts, so that's 3,000 at 470. 470. Okay, I don't go any higher. Let's knock it right back down to our starting 1400. Okay, and she's starting to get a little bit warm, but nothing too much. So, interestingly, that's actually got even lower now to 250. That's odd. I wonder as the motor's warmed up, it's giving me a lower figure. But in any case, it doesn't look very promising. That'll do it. Can't bring it down. Yeah, it's 500 watts. 500 watts, absolute maximum. So, what have we learned about this wind turbine then? Well, it's pretty obvious that they're fluffing their figures a little bit. When we were playing around with the alternator bench tester, having it up at just over 5,000 RPM, we're still getting 530 watts. So, yeah, they really are overestimating this by a lot. Typically, these things are sold as an 800 watt unit. But I think they've just literally just thought we'll try selling it at 2,000s. I have even seen 3,000 watt versions on there. It's pretty obvious that they're just putting a number on it. So yeah, my advice as a consumer is just to be very, very aware that these people are making things up, and always try and get as much data as possible. Talking about data, I've made a graph of the power that this thing was producing under our tested controlled environment, and so yes, that'll be available hopefully below here somewhere about now, I think. But yeah, so all in all, it's a little bit disappointing that that they do this, that they blatantly lie about the output ratings of these units, and then even when they're questioned about blatantly lying about these outputs, they are like, well, show us the evidence. You haven't got any evidence, which I can see for a lot of people is very frustrating, because how are they meant to get evidence, without sort of having an anemometer right next to their turbine as it is? It's very difficult. So hopefully this is going to be a little bit of a help to anybody wanting to buy one of these units. Just be aware that you are not going to get what they're rated for. In fact, under normal working circumstances, you're going to get about 300 watts maximum, certainly out of a unit which is rated for 2 kilowatts. It's pretty pathetic. But there you go. So can't say I didn't tell you. Bye bye.